What's up, everybody? This is Tom Taylor with South China Morning Post, and I'm joined this afternoon by the One Championship heavyweight king and my fellow Canadian, Arjan Bhullar. How's it going, man? How's everything?
Everything's fantastic. It's been a minute. We're overdue for a chat, so thank you for having me.
My absolute pleasure. It's great to catch up again. Before we look too far into the future, I want to start by looking back on your last fight, a very important fight. You defeated Brendan Vera to win the One Championship heavyweight title. I'm wondering, in hindsight, now that some time has passed, how happy are you with that win, particularly coming against a guy like Brandon, who was so well established and won?
It meant a great deal. When I got into this sport, it was, I wanted to compete. I wanted to have a legacy, and I wanted some heads on the table when I was done, some names. And that was a name I really wanted to get. He's done great things in One Championship and just his entire body of work as a mixed martial artist. So I wanted to get that badly. And I think the way we got it really allowed us to show different aspects of my mixed martial arts skill set. I'm no longer just a wrestler, and I'm not just a boxer. We're able to deal with kickboxers. We're able to switch stances. We're able to do it all. And we were able to show all of that in the fight.
Definitely. You look so well-rounded in that fight, and it obviously paid off. You won yourself the title. So how has your life changed since you came back to Canada with that belt in your luggage?
It's changed quite a bit. That's something that Daniel Cormier told me, because your life's going to change with that gold now. And that's exactly how it went. So many opportunities have come our way that we've been able to jump on, and others that we've been able to weed through. So in terms of that, it's been amazing. It's just elevated my profile and stature, but a lot remains the same too. I'm the same husband, same father, same family situation. And to many people, still the same person, my training partners, my coaches. So a lot of that stays, and I'm grateful that will stay the same.
Beautiful. Still a family man. But you mentioned there have been some new opportunities and kind of exciting new developments since you won this belt. I've got to ask about the shout out you got from our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, and also Jagmeet Singh, who's another notable politician in this country, for those unaware. I mean, what did it mean for you to get these shout outs from these guys?
It meant a great deal. Those are leaders of nations and leaders of parties that, that have an impact on a lot of people. So, and I got a tremendous amount of respect for what they do. It's, as a politician, it's tough. You never get the credit for the good stuff. You're always going to get critics, and you're going to get people to pull you down for what you're not doing. So I respect what they do. It's not easy. It's a lose-lose situation, in my opinion. And I'm just happy that they respect my body of work. And I said it then, I'll say it again. My family immigrated from India to come to Canada for a better place. A lot of challenges that they faced. And, to have the leader of the nation tweet about their son, it just allowed everything to come full circle. That was the sacrifice, and that was the point of immigrating, was for a better future for myself and my siblings and this generation.
That must have been just an amazing moment for your parents, your family. I'm sure they were so proud. You chose to leave the UFC and come to One Championship, and I know a big part of that was One Championship's plan to expand into India. But having said that, now that you've become the champion, you're mingling with these politicians, going to Canucks games and grabbing the mic there. I mean, this has got to feel like it was the right move, right? The gamble has paid off.
Oh, absolutely. I don't doubt that for a second. When I entered free agency, we fought out our contract. We got an offer from the UFC of your standard contract, and they made it clear that their machine was not targeting India or the Indian fan base or that type of thing. And so I was just another guy on the roster reading between the lines. Whereas One, they build superheroes, and they were targeting India, and they had plans for India's superhero. So, that fit me. That was a better decision for me and myself on a personal level. And I will always take care of myself before anybody else, because no one else is going to take care of me otherwise.
Very well said. All right, well, let's look to the future a little bit. I've heard through the grapevine you may have a fight in the works, contract negotiations going on. I'm not sure what you're able to say. Are you able to reveal anything in terms of your next fight and when we may see you again in the cage?
Yeah, no, that is exactly accurate. Your sources are correct. We are going through heavy negotiations. There was also, pro wrestling talk, but that all involves the one side of things. I'm under contract with them. So we got multiple things we're trying to juggle into a new contract. But I'm hopeful. I got the best management in the game in CAA. One has shown that they put fighters first. So I do believe Chaudhry and the team on down will be able to find some middle ground, and things are progressing. So that's that. But we will fight again, and it will be most likely that Russian. And I love that competition. I love that challenge in front of me, what he brings to the table. And I love how I'm on his mind. I'm on his mind, and I'm on his social media. I love it. But I'm the king, and the king decides, when the rules of engagement will happen, when, where, how, and what kind of loot I want for it. And that's up to me. And when I decide I want to step in, I will take his head next.
Fantastic. Well, let's talk about the Russian. You're speaking, of course, about Anatoly Malykhin, streaking in one championship right now, done some really impressive things lately. You sort of alluded to your thoughts on him a moment ago, but I mean, what do you think of him as an opponent potentially?
I think, he has proven he should be the next guy. He's undefeated. He's come to the Russian system. Before that, the Russian wrestling system. So you cannot deny his body of work in terms of the years of training and success that he's had. That being said, he doesn't decide when. He doesn't decide where. I decide those things. I'm the king, but I love how I'm on his mind. That's the way it should be. And I'm focused on becoming better and more well-rounded every single day. And he's focused on me. That's the way it should be. I like that. A few things, like I said, he has a skill set, but he's never faced someone like me. I think I'm more well-rounded. He's leaned on his wrestling in the past, and I don't think that's going to be a factor for him in this fight. He's leaned on his striking most recently in his last fight, but I think I've proven I'm more well-rounded in all of that, mixing in my strikes into my wrestling and just being an overall better mixed martial artist. He's coming through the Russian system, so you better take those Russian supplements. He's proven in the past that he's dirty. That entire country's dirty. They were banned from the Olympics for a reason. Putin's dirty. And I'm gonna right the wrongs of that entire nation in our next fight.
Well, that leads perfectly into my next question. I was going to say, you clearly know how to cut a promo. You just did it again. I don't speak Russian, but I sort of get the sense that Anatoly has that trait as well. He seems to make people laugh. He seems like he could be a funny guy, interesting character. What's the build up to this fight going to be like if it happens? It seems like we might be
all the way through in that cage. There will be war. Absolutely. The lead up, I don't know about his end, but I'm coming for him. I'm coming for him and all the dirty Russians that I've faced over the years. I couldn't punch him in the face. And this guy I can. He's just as dirty as those guys were. And I'll be able to punch this one in the face. So I'm excited for that. And hey, there's good and evil in this world. And these Russians are all dirty. And like I said, Putin on down. So I'm going to grab him by the neck and I'm going to do what I want with him.
All right. Well, it sounds like there's some heat with this matchup at the very least. Of course, it won't be your last. There's another big heavyweight fight on the horizon. December 3rd, we've got Marcus Buchecha Almeida fighting Ji-Won Kang from South Korea. I'm assuming you'll be watching that one fairly closely. Do you have any thoughts on those two guys?
Absolutely. Kang was a guy I threw out as a name before. Young kid, has shown the ability to overcome through adversity. And I respect all of those things. And he moves like a lightweight on his feet. But he has shown the ability to get taken down over and over. Although he's worked up, that's going to be trouble with Buchecha. So he's got to be smart in his approach there. But this isn't jiu-jitsu, and we're not in gis. So and Buchecha knows that it's a different animal in MMA. A lot of the stuff that works in jiu-jitsu does not work in MMA. So he's going to have to show that. And he's a great talent and great potential. And he's just got to get fights under his belt. So I'm excited to see how these guys perform as the division kind of shakes itself out.
Definitely. There's a lot of exciting options for you, coming up in the pipeline. One guy who's called you out recently was Rainier Torr, who obviously holds the one championship middleweight and light heavyweight titles now. I believe you sort of already shrugged that off, kind of waved him off. But what are your thoughts on potentially fighting him one day?
The king decides. Like I said, when I feel I want to take on that challenge and squash that little bug, I will do that. As of right now, I'm the heavyweight king, and I will defend my heavyweight title. And then, hey, who knows? Maybe I want to be the light heavyweight king as well. Maybe we go that way. But I will decide. I'm the A side, and he's the C side. So that's the way it is.
Very well said. All right, the king decide, as you said. I'm wondering, in a perfect world, be it pro wrestling, MMA, boxing, if you could pick any opponent out there to fight, sometime in the next year or so, your dream opponent, who would that be?
Stipe Miocic.
Well said. What about him do you like?
What do I like about him? He's on the Mount Rushmore of the sport, and I want that head. And it's personal for what he did with Daniel Cormier. Cormier is coming off back surgery. He's a lot older. He was limited. And, I'm not doing anything else but training. I don't have any other shows. I don't have any other commitments. I'm healthy. I'm younger. And I was involved with every one of those training camps. That was personal. And I want to finish it off right for my guy and for myself personally. I want to take that head.
That sounds like a very exciting fight. You mentioned two incredible champions there, Daniel Cormier and, of course, Stipe as well. I'm wondering, if you kind of look ahead, obviously it's impossible to say at this point who you'll fight over the course of your reign, but if you can kind of forecast what your reign is going to look like, what kind of performances can we expect from you? What is this title reign going to look like?
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be unique. No one's going to be able to, no one's done what I'm going to do with this title. We're going to go out there. We're going to defend the title. We're going to go out there, potentially get a second weight title if I choose to do that with my team. We're going to get a pro wrestling title. We're going to get in the boxing ring. We're going to do it all. And like I said, within all of that, I want Stipe's head as well.
You're going to have to get a bigger trophy case, I think, if you plan on doing all this. You're going to run out of space. You got space over there?
Ooh, those are good problems to have. Don't worry about that end. I get all the gold in-house, put it in our armory, and we'll figure it out from there.
Amazing. You've mentioned Daniel Cormier a couple of times over the course of this chat. He's a guy you obviously know quite well and train with. Cain Velasquez is another. These are guys you get a lot of time in with at American Kickboxing Academy in California. I'm wondering, what kind of influence have these guys had over the course of your career, and what kind of influence do they have today? Huge.
And Cain's the OG. Much respect to him. Without Cain, there's no DC, and without either of those guys, there's no me. So he's the original guy, the original Brown Pride, flown his flag. He didn't give two shits about anybody else. He represented. And he was a bad man. The wars that I've seen in the gym and been a part of, are of legend. People would have paid front row ticket prices to be in that gym for a lot of that training. So, and it's great to see, Cain healthy, giving back. He's always in the gym now with the guys, more than he's ever been. So that's amazing to see. DC's always flying around. He's living the showbiz life. He's going to come up in a movie real soon. And so he's doing his thing. Great to see. Those guys coming over from wrestling, similar background, becoming, legends, GOATs. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You had the best of the best in that one gym. There's no other team that could say that. So I just tried to take it all in and be a sponge, pick their brain where I can, watch, learn, and just soak in what I can and make the tweaks to my own personal preference. And not only that, beyond just fighting, how both of them are family men, both of them are successful in business beyond the cage, carry themselves with the utmost class. And so I take notes on all of that.
Being that you're right there with these guys so often, and like you said, you're a sponge and you can absorb all of this knowledge from them. The formula is right there. How confident are you that you can kind of emulate the success they've had in their MMA careers?
Very confident. That's you become who you surround yourself with. So I put myself there for a reason, and that's what it's about. AKA as a team is about greatness and world titles. I've shown I'm among them. And I'm going to continue carving out my legacy, to make it as big as possible, as bright as possible. So I'm proud to look back on it one day.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to watch you do that. Shifting gears a bit, we talked a bit about India at the top of this chat. One Championship has spoken quite a bit about how they plan to expand into the country. Obviously, the pandemic has sort of thrown a wrench into those plans, but sounds like it's still part of the larger plan. What would it mean for you to fight in India? I mean, what would that moment be like for you defending your title there?
It would be huge. One of my highlights as an athlete was the Commonwealth Games in Delhi. That was, was and always will be one of my highlights of my life. And, I came over for a reason. I have the gold now. Let's do it. The country's ready. The fan base is ready. Ritu's working her way through this atomweight tournament. She's the queen of Indian MMA. Let's go out there. You got your headliners right there. Everyone's going to turn out. It's about time we get rolling.
You mentioned Ritu. I have to ask about her fight coming up with Stan Fairtex on December 3rd. This is probably a dumb question, but I mean, you're picking her to win that fight. You've got her back in this fight.
Absolutely. It's going to be a tough fight. Stamp's going to make her earn it. It's a classic style matchup. The longer Ritu can keep her on her back, the more success she's going to have. And Stamp knows that. The more Stamp to keep it standing, and standings where the fights always begin, the more success she should have. That being said, Ritu's shown that she's becoming more and more well-rounded. But I don't think she should forget who she is and her roots. So use that stand-up to close the distance and get it to where you're going to have the most success. As long as she does that, I think she comes out on top.
Fantastic. Well, that's all I have for you today, champ. Let me conclude here by handing the proverbial mic to you. Anything you want to say to your fans in India, your fans all over the world?
Fans in India all over the world, thank you guys so much for all the love and support and the patience. We are working through the business end of things, and your boy's going to be coming back real soon. Rita's going to go win this atomweight tournament, and then hopefully after that, we're on the card, and maybe even in India. Let's see. And you dirty rat bastard, Anatoly, I'm coming for you. All you dirty Russians, all you guys, Putin on down. We're going to make sure Anatoly's clean for the fight, and then I'm going to do him dirty.
Laying down the gauntlet. I like it. Arjan Bhullar, the heavyweight champion of one championship, one of the greatest fighters from India. Pleasure to speak with you, man. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Cheers. Good luck with everything.